Okay, great. So, good morning. My name is Rachel Pratt, and I am Vice President of Operations for BEX. And I'm going to introduce you to DATABEX and give you an overview of what it is and what we do with it, how to use it, all the features. It's great stuff. I want to just kind of start by giving you a little bit of history really fast. We started DATABEX because some of you may or may not be familiar with other services that we do, which are our digital magazine, ASBEX, and we do events as well. But one of the problems that we were having is like everything that we were publishing was very time sensitive as far as like the now. Like it was a newspaper essentially. So we didn't have a history, or we couldn't track things like we could with a database, which is kind of how this all came about. We wanted to kind of create somewhere we could store all of this data that we were tracking, and the database kind of came out of that. We do only track projects in Arizona at the moment, and they are only at a valuation of $5 million or more in construction value. So if you're looking for that 1 to 5 million spot, it doesn't have anything in there that's going to work for you as far as that goes. But if you are looking for anything over 5 million, we've got it. It's a very vast database. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, and this is the DATABEX site. I did want to kind of go over a couple of things with you. If you have never seen this before, there are live projects on our splash page that you can dive into, and there's no need for a login. It's available for anyone to look into, and you can check out projects that are happening that, see exactly what they look like inside of the database. And obviously there are some features that we would like you to subscribe for, but you do have a glimpse of what it looks like on the inside. So I wanted to kind of show you that, as well as our monthly snapshot. So our monthly snapshot is a way that we track information about what's happening inside the database. How many projects we're adding, how many projects we've updated, what's the valuation, what's the spread between the private sector and the public sector. So this kind of gives you an overview of what that, and we publish it every month. The private side is dominant in DATABEX. You can see here we have 59% of the projects in DATABEX are private projects, which account for almost $150 billion. So there's a lot of private side work in here. With that, I do want to jump in and kind of show you the inside. So this is our dashboard. You can see we do have a menu up here that you can access stuff. There's lots of pretty buttons, and I'll tell you everything that they do. These are shortcut buttons to lists that are associated to your account. So I have 23 saved searches, and this just takes me to that list. Same with projects I'm following, projects I've expressed interest on, as well as my project notes. Up here, we have a project ID search. We do track our projects by ID number. It's usually just a 4-digit number, super easy to remember. All you do is punch it in, press enter, and it takes you straight to that project profile, and you can bypass any of the search forms. Speaking of search forms, let me go through the top menu for your navigation needs. This is where you'll find all the searches available in the actual database. We have the projects that you can search by details. You search by keyword, by location, which is our map feature, or by the activity that we've had recently in the database. You can also search companies, contacts, and solicitations. We do offer custom reports. So if you're looking for something very specific for a downloadable report that we don't offer, we do offer a customized report at an extra fee. If you do want to be, if you're interested in that, you just need to email us and let us know, and we can set that up for you. Also, each account will be assigned a manager that has special permissions, and we do have a help site available. So if you have any questions, it's a very vast knowledge base of all the database information. It's very easy to get to, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a little bit. And then of course we have Contact BEX, which is going to give you myself and Rebecca's contact information. So if you ever have any questions, we are available for you just by a click of a button and a phone call or email. This is where all of my account information is stored, and we'll dive into that in a little bit. But let me get back to the dashboard. So you can see here we do have a keyword search. Now the keyword search is a save search option. And this save search is related to this button here. And what this does is it just saves that search. So you don't have to put in the same criteria every time. You can search it at any time you want just by going to your account. But the really cool thing about the save search is that it sets up your daily digest. Now your daily digest is going to be an email notification system on a daily or weekly basis, depending on your preference, that enables you to get the latest projects that meet your criteria, the most recently updated projects that meet your criteria. And they're separated and easy to read straight to your email on a daily basis. So I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit. But all you have to do is give it a name so you know what that save search is, give it a keyword, and then search, and it'll show your results and save that to your account. We also have a standing DATABEX webinar. So if you ever wanted to kind of just check it out on demand, it's right there on the dashboard for you. Below that are just project search or company search, solicitation search. These are just shortcuts to the actual search pages. And then below that is the recently added projects to the database. And you can see we have a lot of tables in here. It is a vast database. Wherever you see a table inside of this database, you will also see a download data button. You can download as a CSV or as a PDF, and you get a lot more information that's actually than what's on display for the tables. So you will get when it was last updated, you get the GC, the prime design firm as well. So I'll show you what that looks like as well. All right, details takes you to the project profile. And remember that project ID that I was mentioning earlier, that's on that first column there. Super easy numbers to remember, just 4-digit number. I'm going to scroll back up to the top. Let's dive into a search. I'm going to go search by project details. This is going to give you the most flexibility as far as what you're looking for to get very specific or a list of lots of projects. Now again, this is a save search option. You can save searches in 3 different places. You can save them on the keyword search, on the project search by details, and on the solicitation search. So let's give this one a name. Let's call this one, we'll call it under construction in healthcare. And then I have to set that up for the actual, I can't spell, okay. So project name, if you wanted to use this, this is for that more narrow approach, like a shotgun, or not a shotgun, but a sniper approach, right? You're looking for a specific project. And if you're looking for something that has a name, you know, it has like the word Osborne in it or something like that. You can type that in and it'll pop up any of those project names that have the word Osborne in it. You can search projects by owner. So if you wanted to see a list of all the City of Phoenix projects, that's an option for you as well. City, state, zip, sector, these are all things that you can use. This one is multi-selectable, so if you're looking for tribal and public, federal, that kind of thing, you can definitely choose more than one. Or you can search them all and not filter it. Now this one's really cool for general contractors and design firms. We did build this database for anyone that works in the AEC industry in Arizona. But we do have specific filters set up just for design firms and general contractors. One of them is to check to see if those contracts are available, because we do track that. If the construction contract is available, then you're probably a general contractor. You want to make sure that project is a good fit for you, right? So we want to make sure that's available. Method of delivery, this is an option as well. I would leave this open normally. A lot of them are not yet selected or had to be determined on the selection for method of delivery. We do track projects fairly early, pretty early as we can get them. We do definitely focus on the pre-bid aspect of the project. We also have project status. So we have projects that we add from the CIPs. We have projects that are pre-planning. This just like purchase of land for future development. We do track early and all the way through to completion of construction. So you can choose multiple statuses. So for example, maybe I want design, anything in design plan review is more private side. That's kind of the planning stage for the private side. We do actually track master plans and mixed use and all that fun stuff. If they're pending funding, phase completed, phase under construction, planning, pre-construction, pre-planning, which is what I mentioned earlier. And then of course, canceled, completed, on hold, and under construction. This is also multi-selectable, so you can check whatever you need to. And below that, we have market. So we've separated the markets into two main categories, horizontal and vertical. And everything inside of that will be like a sub-market. So we have a sub-market of utilities inside of horizontal, and you can choose the sub-market of dry utilities or other energy projects, solar, wet utilities, that kind of thing. So we do have the option to get very specific, or you can just say, I just want all vertical projects, and it's going to get everything: hospitality, healthcare, industrial, mixed use, multifamily, office, etc. You don't need to select all of them because it's going to pick it up because it has that word vertical. Okay. And then divisions. So if you are a manufacturer rep or a subcontractor or something along the lines that you want to be specific about divisions, we do have an option to select divisions. Same thing, multi-selectable. And then the last one on here, we have the estimated valuation or the square footage. So this is a range that you can filter. If you're looking for projects that are only over $100 million, for example, then put that on the low end and leave the cap open, and then you'll find only projects that are over $100 million. Same with square footage. So maybe you just want 1 million square foot or more. Whatever you need, that is an option. So that's going to give you the detail search for the project. So let's go ahead and dive into one. Up here, I'd mentioned under construction and healthcare. So at that point, I want to make sure I get my healthcare market, and I click healthcare here. It's going to pick up assisted living, hospitals, and medical office buildings. And we said under construction. So I'm going to choose under construction. I think I'll also choose phase under construction for that one. And let's see, do we want to narrow it down any further than that? The design and construction contracts won't be available at that point because it's under construction. All right, so let's go ahead and save this. Now remember, I saved this search. So now it's going to add it to my account. And anytime that search will be run every day, and I will get returned results of any projects that are new or updated to the database. So here's my results. I have 44 projects under construction in the healthcare industry right now. So let's take a look at what these look like. Let's actually, one more thing before I move on. I want to tell you a little bit more about these tables. What's really neat is that you can actually sort by owner or status or city so that you can see, okay, all right, Banner Health has 3 projects under construction right now. You can see one's in Mesa, Casa Grande, another one in Mesa. Now this little eyeball right here, when you are following a project, that means that anytime it's updated, you get an email notification. This little eyeball will be purple. That's just a quick glance at, okay, I'm following that project. I don't need to look at it. I move on. Details will take you to the project profile. And then if you download this data as a CSV, which is compatible with Excel or any CRM systems, what it's going to do is take this information that's displayed and then add on. Let me show you what it adds on. I do have a question here from Jason Simmers. Can you re-explain the any versus available selection again? What do those mean? Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that question. Let me open up that Excel sheet really quick. And I hope that you can see this because I'm sharing my screen and not my browser. So here we go. We have the project ID, the project name, owner, valuation, city, zip, status, market, the square footage, the design firm, the prime contractor, followed. Now remember I was telling you, this is whether or not you're following it, and then when the project was last updated, which tells you how often things are moving or not moving in this actual database. So I just wanted to show you what that looks like. Let me get out of this real quick, and then I will dive right back into that. I should have just stopped that for a second. Let me duplicate my tab, and then I'll dive right back into that search real quick and show you what the availability means. Now, we're looking for, if you're a design firm, right, you want to make sure that you get results back to you that have your contract available. If there's already a design firm on the project, then it's not a good lead for you. So this is a way for you to kind of filter through, okay, well, has the design contract already been selected or hasn't it? So you can say, I want to make sure that that contract is available or not available, whichever one you prefer, most likely available if you're a design firm. So that's, like I said earlier, it's kind of geared towards design firms here and then general contractors here. And I hope that explains it. All right, I'm going to back up. We're going to dive into a project profile now. So let's go ahead and check out the Mirabella at ASU Senior Living. Open up the project details, and it's going to take me to the profile. Wi-Fi's been a little slow today. There we go. Okay, so you can see we have a rendering. This isn't the best fit rendering I've ever seen, that's for sure. So what we've done is we've enabled you to open up that rendering just by clicking on rendering, and then you can see the full view or version of it. Exit. Below that, you'll see this is a shortcut menu to certain sections within the actual profile. And then we have our timeline for the project. We've separated it into 3 different stages. We have the planning stage, design stage, and then construction stage. And then you'll see this little marker right here that indicates today. So you can see we are almost done with this project. It's very close to completion, still under construction at the moment, but just by glancing at this timeline in just a second, you can see exactly where you're at in the life of the project, which is really helpful. Below this, you'll see the name block. It obviously gives you the name. We also track the project ID number. This is 81, so this is a very early one. We do offer PDFs for each project. So if you wanted to bring them into a meeting or send them to someone for some kind of business development need, you can click on PDF, and what it's doing is it's going to take all the information from that profile and put it into the PDF. But before I show you that, let me get through the project profile really quick. Remember the eyeball we were talking about on the table? This is where that button is to follow the project. When you follow a project, you will get email notifications whenever the project is updated. We have 4 full-time researchers that do nothing but research projects all day. And this is one way that you can kind of keep on top of what the project's doing, and you won't miss any of those updates. So if you have an update that you want to send to us or a question on a particular project, you can click on the submit an update button, and it just shoots an email to me, and I'll forward it to the correct researcher or answer your question. You'll also see when the update was last sent. So the following project relates to the updates that you'll get, and this is the last time it was sent on 11/23. On the status block here, you can see it's clearly under construction, and then we let you know when we last checked on this project. Usually after they've started construction, we check on the project less often because there is less opportunity for people to get work out of it, right? It's already under construction. Underneath that is the latest status note. So per John Taminga with Pacific Retirement Services on 11/23, and notice we said who we talked to and when we talked to them, and then we tell you what they said. The project will be complete within the next 3 or plus months. So we are very specific in telling you who we talked to, when we talked to them, and what they said in the latest status note. And if you want to see the history of those status notes, you have a previous status note. You just click on that, it expands the bar, and you can see all the history of those notes right there. On the left side, we have the project details. So this is going to tell you the method of delivery, the valuation, the square footage, the sector, the market, the address, and then a brief project description. Under detailed description and notes, you will see we will get more detailed on the actual description of the project. You'll see all the different amenities or different facilities, everything that ASU is doing with this particular project. If there's any additional notes, often we'll get a tentative schedule of some kind, and we'll add it in here. Below that, you'll have divisions. These are the divisions that are assigned to the project. We only go to that first level of division. So if you're looking for something super specific, all we have is that first level of divisions. Contacts. So this is what everybody loves. Gotta have those contacts. The contact information for not only the company, but also the person that's on the project manager, the project architect, the actual owner, the people that are involved in the project. So you can see we have Patrick Panetta with Arizona State University. He's the real estate project manager director. That's his actual title. And what he's doing is he's acting as the public owner of the project, as opposed to Darla Esnard. She's the principal architect or interior design. We have email, direct phone, office phone. Her role is in interior design, and she's providing those interior design services. Now, you'll see the stamps on here that clearly indicate the design firm, prime design firm, and the prime contractor on the project. So it is McCarthy Building Companies. And what I just did, and I wanted to explain, is that I clicked on McCarthy Building Companies, and it's going to open up another company profile or a company profile. So you'll see we've tracked McCarthy, and we have their information, obviously their website, what kind of company they are, their general contractor, the markets they work in, their logo, the offices that we have in the database, as well as the contacts. So we have contacts in here that are associated to a project. They're not administrative assistants or coordinators of kinds. They're the people that are working on the project, the people that are answering the questions on the project. You know, they're the ones that we actually need to talk to. Other people you'll find in this database are key employees, executives, as well as other database users. If you click on details, it's going to open up. And it's going to give you a detailed, actually, let me give you a different one. Let's try this one. It's going to give you the details for the actual person. And on the right-hand side, you'll see the related projects. These are projects that this person has been assigned to. So if you know that they're, talking to, or they're the project manager for this particular project you're on, they're also a project manager for this project. So you can see what a great conversation starter that might be. Okay, let's keep going. Underneath contact, active projects. So these are the projects that McCarthy is actively working on right now. They're already under construction or in design, but they are not completed. So we have another section for completed projects. Each of these will link to the project profile, and you can clearly see the status that those are in. Can you see what projects a contact has selected interest in? No. If they're another database user, you mean? No, they don't list the projects you're interested in on the company profiles. Completed projects, these are all links to the project profile and links to the owner company profiles. Now, the offices that are in here are assigned to the people that are working on the projects. So they're not going to be all the offices or headquarters. It's just the ones that are actually working on the projects. We also have a place for associated companies. So if this was a For example, maybe McCarthy bought out another company. We would have that associated company here so you can see the relationship between the two. And notes, which I haven't got to on the project side yet. You can add your own notes that are private to you only or shared to your team only on any project or any company in the database. So it's a great way for you to keep track of who you're talking to, when you're talking to them. Also, you can communicate with your other team members about who should be working on what. Whatever it is that you want to do, it's an option. You can share it. So say I want to let my team members know that the best contact for McCarthy is Andy Fillion. So I could type that in, press shared, and then save it. And now it's going to send to my team members an email telling them I left a note or a shared note on this particular project or company profile. It'll show up here as well. All right, let me keep going here. Back up, going back to that project profile. But first, I want to show you, remember that PDF we talked about earlier? It's done, and I want to show you what it looks like. So of course, we try to grab a rendering. The project fundamentals in our case are going to be those details of like who's the owner number, the market sector. We check the project ID, the address, the method of delivery, project valuation, project description, etc. So we do try to include all of that information on one easy to print page. We also include the timeline. So if there's, it doesn't look like a timeline as a graphic, it's actually as a table in this case. And then we have the status as well as the current status note and previous status notes. The project contacts with titles, emails, etc. And there's a bunch on this one. We have a map of its location, any divisions, and the associated solicitations. Okay, I'm going to keep going just because we got caught up in the contacts. It's fun though. It's a relational database, so you can get to contacts from projects and companies from contacts and contacts to projects, etc. So here we have a map. It is an interactive, that's the word. I was about to say integrated. It is integrated, but it's also interactive. You can zoom in, zoom out, pan to get your bearings. And then we have files. We track all the articles that we write in our digital publication for Aspects. We track them inside of the project profiles. So anytime we write up something, so for example, this one was published on 7/17 last year. We upload these articles so you can kind of keep up to date with what's been published about the projects. There it is. Okay, and we also collect the municipal documents. So we're talking about agendas, meeting minutes, as well as planning and zoning, narratives, all that kind of stuff. So let me keep going. We also track, let's see, we have articles, plans and specs, renderings, other, which is just miscellaneous stuff, as well as the articles and municipal documents. So you can view or download them from here. This one needs to be resized. It's very big. All right, so that's that side of the project profile, and I'm just going to finish up on the right-hand side. So we left off at previous status notes, and then we have links and solicitations. So links are going to be any external URLs, external web pages. A lot of the times it's a public owner that set up a website for the project. We'll put that link there. Solicitations, any type of requests for qualifications or design firms, general contractors, that kind of thing. That's where they'll list here, and I'll show you what those look like. Notes. Now remember we talked about this as a company profile. You can do the same thing with the projects. So if you wanted to track information about a specific project, you can do it through the notes, and then it stays on record on the page. And you're the only one that can see it unless you share it, and then it goes to your team only. Associated projects. This is a way for us to link projects together. So you know, okay, this project is probably on the same master plan as this project, for example. And then it just goes straight to another project profile. Interested parties is a way for you to communicate with other database users that you're interested in providing services on the project. It does give you contact information. Just by clicking on that, it'll take them to your contact details, right? Who he works for. He's not related on any projects. He's not a project manager. He's business development, right? Director of sales. So that is really great for you to be able to kind of communicate with other database users. Okay, that wraps up a project profile. I know that was a lot to take in, but there's a lot of good information here. So let's keep going. Project search by keyword. I think we covered that one. Let's go by location. Okay, right. So this is a map search. This is an Google Maps integrated map that literally takes every active project inside of the database and plots it on one map location. So it's going to open up my current location. It's going to probably pop up for the people who haven't tried this before. It'll ask you if they could use your current location. Yes, click yes. It's going to show you all the projects in your area. So right now I'm in Tempe, and it's going to load all the projects at once. And it takes a minute, so give it a second. I am actually working with the developer to make this faster because it's too slow for me. I like to work fast. I'm very fast. And if it's too slow for me, then yeah, it just drives me nuts. Plus, the Wi-Fi doesn't seem to be super speedy today, as usual. Okay, come on. It's thinking. Let me show you what's up here first. Type of partial or full address. This pans the map. It's not a filter, it just pans. So if you type Mesa, it'll just pan the map to Mesa. The filters are in the market sectors. So you can filter by market sector on this one. And now you can see all the active projects in the database have popped up on the map. I can zoom out, zoom in, and there's a lot going on here. Actively, I think there is about 18 to 1900 projects in Arizona that are over $5 million in the database at one time. And you can see all these purple markers. And if you look closely, you'll see there's some blue ones mixed in there too. Now the blue ones indicate that I'm following that project. So I know, okay, yep, I'm following that one already. That's over by this project. One of the cool things is, so for developers, for example, they can see what's being built around a property that they're interested in purchasing or developing to find out, okay, there isn't enough hotels here yet, but maybe these are all hotels, right? Okay, that's probably not a good place for me to build a hotel then. But my point is, this is a really cool tool and it does more, and I want to show you. Let's dive in. So if I hover over the project, it's just going to give me the name of the project. If I click on the marker, there you go, it gives me a little bit detail of the project and an option to go to the full details, which will take you to the project profile, or an option to add it to a list. Now, this is a really cool feature because I can add it to a list and it'll populate that project below the map in a table form. Then I can go to this one, say, you know what? I want this one on my list too. And now it's populating that project underneath the map. So what I'm doing is I'm actually creating a customized list of projects that I can download as a CSV or as a PDF. So that's a really cool feature. I love that. I think it's really, really neat. Now you can show completed and canceled projects on here too if you choose. Just remember to search for it, because if you just click on it, nothing happens. You have to actually press search. If I want to filter by market sector, I can. So let's say I want to filter by, let's say K-12, search. Zoom out a little bit. There we go. These are all the active K-12 projects right now. So this is a neat feature. All right, I'm going to move on to search by project on recent activity. So this is more of a list than it is an actual search form. It's going to list all the projects that have recently been added to the database, as you can see here, links to those details as well, or the recently updated projects. So these are all the projects that have had a recent update sent out to followers. That one's pretty simple. Let's keep going. Search by, oops. Try that again. Search by companies. Let's try companies. And you'll see there is also a search menu on the left here too. An active bids is actually a solicitation search, but it wasn't clear that you would search by details. So anyway, they go to the same place, but it's just an easy way to see it and understand it. All right, company details. Again, this is another narrow or broad approach form. If you're looking for a specific company or a list of companies, it's the same form. So if we're looking for maybe, let's see, I want to find electrical engineers, and we'll say in Arizona, that work in the, let's see if I can find maybe solar. Let's go with industrial. There we go. So an electrical engineer that works in the industrial market sector. And I can get very specific if I wanted to. But let's try that one. We'll search. And now I have a list of all these companies, right? This takes me to the project, or excuse me, not the project, the company profile, as well as this one. So I can see what kind of engineer they are, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer. This is also downloadable, so it does work with CRM systems. There's 17 for that specific market sector, excuse me. And then, of course, I've showed you what the actual company profile looks like. So here's another one. Affiliated engineers. Here's the markets they work in, the services that they provide, the contacts that we have, the active projects completed, etc. All right, I'm going to keep going. Now I'm going to do a contact search. So this one's actually set up specifically to add to your CRM systems if you need it, or you're just looking for a specific person. We have a name or email, and then you can actually search by company or even the company type. So maybe we want to find all the contacts that work in real estate agency. Search. So we have one. That's horrible, horrible example. Let me try that again. How about design builder? So we're going to look for contacts that have a design build company, or that are associated to a design build company. There we go. That's more like it. So we have the name, title, and email and company. And of course, like I said, this is not what I meant to do. Okay. Sorry, let me try that again. Search by contacts. And we were looking at, what were we looking at? Design builders, that's what it was. Design builds. So now I'm looking for contacts that work for design build firms. All right, we have company, name, title, and email. I pressed search again, but I meant to actually press download. So now I have downloaded this information. And this is something that I can customize to fit into my CRM system, right? So if you're familiar with Excel, you know that you need to match up the columns with what's in your CRM program. We also checked LinkedIn, by the way, cell phones, direct, and office. So 3 available phone numbers, as well as emails and the titles, company name, and contact. So this is a really, really useful download. Okay. So I did want to show you what these downloads look like as a PDF, because I didn't actually go over that yet. There it is. I know, it's exciting, huh? All right, let's move on. Let's go to, we did search companies. Now let's go by solicitation. Now remember, this is that save search option, that third one we were talking about. So I can find solicitations, active open solicitations. But remember, these are for projects that are $5 million and higher. So that 1 to 5 million is usually very heavy in the solicitations, whereas 5 million and up, it's more of alternative delivery methods, negotiated work, especially on the private side. So there isn't as many as you would expect, just because of that valuation frame, but there's definitely some in here. Let's see. Let's go with, let's find some, let's see if there's any CMARs or design builds that are being requested right now. And let's see. We want to make sure that the due date is, if we're going to bid on it or submit on it, we got to make sure we at least have some time. So let's try March 1st, and then we'll leave that open and search. There we go. So now we have 4 on here that fit that criteria for CMAR. They're specifically CMAR in this case. We have the Northeast Public Safety Facility. We have the availability, which is open, the type CMAR, solicitation number, the due date, and then it'll also list if there's a pre-submittal due date or a pre-submittal date. So let's open one of these up and look at the solicitation. All solicitations will come with that project timeline. So this is grabbed straight from that project profile, just to give you an idea of where we are in that project. We also always give a contact for solicitations. This one is CMAR Services. It is open, so we know that it is closing on the 11th of March at 2 p.m. And we have a reference number, the request description, whether or not there's a pre-submittal conference. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. If it's mandatory, a pre-submittal date, the address, or in this case, it's virtual. Any notes that we wanted to add in here as well, and then a tentative timeline. When this is closed, we will get the firms that submitted on it, and it will list here. And there will be an awarded sign or awarded text or stamp next to the company that was awarded this particular solicitation. We also include the files. So if you did want to open up that solicitation from the owner, we have it viewed or download. And let's do that for a second. Any related solicitations. So in this case, this is the design request associated to this project, whereas we are looking at the CMAR request. So that's how we affiliate those two together. And you can always go in there and check it out. So let's do that. Let's see if they've actually awarded this one, which I don't think they have, but oh, I lied, they did. So you can see here, they do have the firm submitting, and then also who was awarded the project. And they have the pre-submittal meeting conference. If there's a sign-in sheet, we will always add that in here as well. Okay, so that's solicitation. So we covered all the search criteria. Now I'm going to get through the rest of the menu, and we should be right on time. I went over reports. That's just a customized thing. If you are interested in more, learning more about that, you can email myself or sales@asbex.com. The manager of the account. So a manager, you can have more than one manager. All it does is it gives permissions for them to add people to your account, remove licenses from your account, add licenses to your account. It also gives you an access log so you can see who's been logging in and not logging into the system on your account, and a link to your company profile. So if you wanted to make sure we had the most current information for your company, maybe somebody's left the firm and you wanted to make a note of that and let us know. Yeah, that's what that's for. You click on that, you say, oh, well, so-and-so is no longer at our firm. Can you remove them? Sure, absolutely. Thank you. We don't want to be LinkedIn. It's too hard. So anytime you want to request a change for your own company profile, it is a welcome. We cannot keep up to date with what's happening in your firm more than you can. So let me get back over to this. So that's my company. It takes me to my company profile. Manage users. If I wanted to add someone to our firm, maybe we made a new hire in business development and we need to add a new user. So you just tell them what office you want to add it to, the name, email, save. And what it does is it adds that person to the list. It'll show up as a manager no, and access no. So if you want to give them access, you go to edit. You say enable access. And then you send them a notification, send them an email, right? And let them know to set up a password so they can get into the account. Because if you don't send that, they're never going to know they're never going to be able to set up a password to enter into their account. So anyway, and then you save. If you want to add them as a manager, you can do that here. And then the access log. So you can see who's been logging in and logging out as well. So you can see I've been in here actively, Leah's been in here, Amanda, Jeffrey. Okay, everyone's using it, supposed to be using it. I haven't wasted my money on this product. Yay. Let's keep going. Help. Okay, so this is actually a new thing we just launched, gosh, not even just a couple of weeks ago. I've set up an entire website for you for knowledge base as well as forums, and I'm going to be adding tutorials on videos of how to do things in the coming months, and I'm excited about it. If you do have a question, for example, you want to learn about maybe the saved searches, you want to kind of understand what those are about, type in saved searches, it's going to give you a list of options, and voila, here's more information about saved searches. So this is a really cool thing. I love it. I'm just glad it's there for you guys to use. And let's keep going. Contact Bex. This is something I don't really need to go over. It's contact us, right? Now this is their account information right here. You can start with my account. It's going to give you your profile, your account preferences, as well as the users that are in your company. This is where you will enable the daily or weekly digest depending on your preference. But remember to press save because it doesn't read it until you press save. If you have any changes to your names or titles, you can update them here. If you need to change your company name or your email, that way you will have to email us to update, but everything else you can definitely do yourself. Now here's the company account information. You can see we have, this is an annual term. I have a max number of users and an expiration date, as well as a billing manager. So if you needed to change any of this, you'll need to email us and let us know. Users in your company, it's very similar to the manager post or page that we just looked at. It'll tell you whether or not someone's a manager of the account and if they have access or not. Okay, let me keep going here. Project notes. Now, project notes and company notes are almost identical. The only thing is one leads to projects, one leads to companies, but the list is still the same. You have all of your project notes here. This is the note, when it was done, and if it's shared or private. You can delete the note from here, but it doesn't delete it from the actual project. You have to do that separately. You can go into the project from here as well. Again, company, same setup. It's just company links instead of project links. Following. This is a list of all the projects that you're following on the database. These are the ones that you're going to get email notifications on whenever they're updated. This is actually a special list though. This does more than just kind of, list things out for you. We've enabled a tagging system for these projects so that you can go in here and add tags to them. One of our subscribers has started using this as an actual CRM system. So they're able to keep track of a project they have to follow up on by adding dates and who they need to talk to and the notes. They've really utilized every aspect of this feature as well as the notes feature to keep track of everything that they're doing with these projects. And it was actually really cool. I was really impressed. So for example, let's see, 12/1, I'll add another 12/1 on here. Let's just say I need to contact this person in the past, which is obviously not right, but it's a date in here that's already here. So I want to kind of use it to show you how the filtering works. I can add a tag, then search for the tag, minus the asterisk, search for it. And now only those 3 projects that have that tab are showing tag. Now I know I need to contact these 3 people or these 3 projects on this particular day. I just thought it was really, really well executed. Another thing you can do is unfollow the project from here. So if you don't want to follow this project anymore, you don't have to. If you don't want to receive notifications, but you want to keep it on your list, you can do that as well. And just deselect or select the notify button here. All right, so that's the following feature and list. Let me keep going on here. Interested parties. This is just going to list out all the projects that you've expressed interest on, and you can remove interest from these projects from here as well. And then the last one is save searches. So remember, we talked about save searches. There's 3 different places that you can save a search: project by details, project keyword, and solicitations by details. You can search them from here, or you can edit the criteria. Maybe you're not getting that perfect amount of, maybe you're not getting the right information back and you want to tweak the data that you want to put into the criteria. And you can do that from here. Just edit it and save, and voila, it's been updated. You can search it from here. And again, the save search relates to the daily digest. So if you want to get notified of any changes in the database that relates to that criteria, set up a save search. That's the best way to do it. Okay, so I think I've covered all of the features for your account and your search features. I'd love to go into some Q&A. I do have a question from Kevin. Does the database have information showing prior year construction volume? If so, does it break it down by market sector or delivery type? Prior year construction volume. If we were tracking it during the prior year, yes. I hope that makes sense. If we haven't, if we weren't tracking it, then this is actually a pretty young database. We've only been tracking projects since 2016. So it's about 5 years old. So if anything happened before 5 years from now, we weren't tracking it. Kevin, I hope that answers your question. I'm going to go ahead and open this up for some Q&A. I'm going to let everybody kind of chime in if they need to. Does anybody have any questions or any searches that you want me to search? Jason, you got a question? No questions? Okay. Well, if you do have a question, you can feel free to email me. I'm definitely easy to get a hold of. My email is rpratt@azbex.com. If you have any technical questions about the database, I'm definitely the right person to ask. I did co-design this database, and I've been helping developing it for the past years, a couple of years actually, this version. So I am definitely the right person if you have any questions. So I'm happy to be here for you. And all you gotta do is email me or call me. I'm very easy to get a hold of. Let's see, I do have one more chat. Oh, well, thank you very much, John. John says, I'm awesome and I did a great job today. Thank you, appreciate that. All right, well, thank you so much for sharing your Friday morning with me. And if you need to speak with Gary, I'm sure he'll be available to talk to. So thank you and have a great day.